Godfather. You know that, don't you?
Sir, yes, sir!
Improvised movie moments, 20 weird facts you didn't know. Welcome to Weird Movie Facts. Do you think a perfect script is all it takes to create an immortal film scene? Think again. Sometimes cinematic masterpieces come from actors going off script.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Today, we're going to unveil hidden secrets, bizarre behind-the-scenes stories, and unbelievable truths about these improvised moments that made cinematic history. No one could have predicted the darkness Heath Ledger would bring to Batman's nemesis in The Dark Knight. And no one could have perfectly scripted such a crazy character.
It's gone.
In one intense scene, Ledger decided to add an extremely unique detail. Instead of just sitting still in the bus amidst the explosions as per the script, he spontaneously adjusted his detonator. The remote control seemed to get stuck. Tap it, and look back at the chaotic scene outside with a look of both annoyance and amusement. This unexpected action was not only a brilliant display of Ledger's improvisational ability, but also added a uniquely dark humor to the scene.
I only have one question. Where is Harvey Dent?
It increased the tension and surprise while vividly portraying the Joker's chaotic and reckless nature, leaving viewers both amazed and delighted, creating a classic moment that showed his unpredictable madness. Always a perfectionist, director Stanley Kubrick repeatedly filmed the scene where the Droogs committed extreme violence in A Clockwork Orange, 1971. The shot was designed to be utterly shocking and disturbing, but Kubrick felt it was still missing something to truly engrave itself in the audience's mind. Although the scene already had all the brutality as scripted, it hadn't reached the level of horror the director desired. Then, he gave an unexpected instruction to actor Malcolm McDowell, who played Alex DeLarge. Just sing. McDowell complied, and the result was the scene of Alex singing "Singin' in the Rain" while committing heinous acts of violence. This combination created a horrifying blend of innocent joy and ultimate evil, sending shivers down the audience's spine. This scene not only amplified the creepiness and discomfort of the shot, but also transformed it into one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history. While there's a slight debate about whether this scene was entirely improvised, it remains a memorable cinematic moment when Dustin Hoffman claimed to have improvised the famous line, "I'm walking here, in Midnight Cowboy, 1969. The scene takes place as Hoffman and Jon Voight are walking down a New York street discussing work, when a taxi suddenly swerves into the frame, nearly hitting Hoffman.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
According to the script, the taxi was not planned. It was merely an unexpected incident while filming on the busy streets of New York.
Get out of here!
With his method acting skills, Hoffman remained in character as Joe Buck, turning the mishap into a classic line to the point where viewers believed it was a genuine, unintended accident. This line not only became a symbol of New York's struggles and chaos, but also a testament to the actor's brilliant improvisational ability. This wasn't just any shark, and Chief Brody knew it. This classic moment in Jaws, 1975, came from pure improvisation. Actor Roy Scheider was the one who delivered the film's most famous line. Upon first seeing the colossal great white shark, Bruce, named after Steven Spielberg's lawyer, Scheider spontaneously uttered the line,
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
This line cut through the tension in the scene with a natural remark, instantly becoming cinematic history and one of the film's most famous quotes. Originally, Scheider just said it casually, a very human reaction to the shark's enormous and terrifying size, and it was never in the original script. Director Martin Scorsese often encouraged actors to contribute to his films, and this was a case where he reaped the rewards. The script for Taxi Driver, 1976, simply stated, Travis talks to himself in the mirror. No specific dialogue was given, just a vague direction for the character's behavior. But Robert De Niro, with his innate acting talent, transformed this instruction into one of the most quoted scenes in cinematic history.
You talking to me? Well, who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
De Niro fully immersed himself in the character of Travis Bickle, a lonely and lost veteran in the heart of New York City, creating that haunting dialogue himself. This scene perfectly captured Travis's loneliness, paranoia, and desperation, and is considered the moment that revealed the most about the character's complex personality. In Goodfellas, 1990, Martin Scorsese continued his strategy of allowing actors to improvise dialogue. Joe Pesci won an Oscar for his stellar performance, especially the improvised monologue, "Funny How?"
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Initially, a conversation between Pesci's character, Tommy DeVito, and Henry Hill, Ray Liotta, was merely a question about Henry's storytelling. However, Pesci transformed it into a menacing interrogation, with a sudden shift in emotion from cheerful to enraged, leaving both Henry and the audience breathless. Tommy repeatedly asked, "Funny how?"
Funny how? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny? He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
You're right.
Funny how?
With escalating tension, showcasing the character's instability and underlying violence. This dialogue not only further explained the violent and unpredictable nature of Tommy DeVito's character, but also left his friends stunned and held the audience captive. Sir Anthony Hopkins still haunts our dreams with his portrayal of the cannibalistic serial killer, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, in The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. This terrifying character introduction scene is considered one of his most chilling. After Lecter describes eating a victim's liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti, Hopkins spontaneously added a chilling hiss or slurp sound. This small detail, initially just a joke by Hopkins while experimenting with the character, increased the scene's creepiness and is believed to be part of the reason he won an Oscar for the role. That demonic hiss not only sent shivers down the audience's spines, but also emphasized Lecter's revulsion and morbid pleasure as he imagined his brutal act, turning a minor detail into one of the most memorable moments in horror cinema.
That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
Director Stanley Kubrick initially hired former Marine R. Lee Ermey as a consultant for the war film Full Metal Jacket, 1987, thinking he wasn't brutal enough for the drill sergeant role.
It is an unlocked footlocker. You know that, don't you?
Sir, yes, sir!
However, in the process, Ermey proved tough enough to take on the role of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, far exceeding Kubrick's expectations. After watching Ermey's audition tape, in which he continuously cursed and insulted the actors as if they were real recruits, Kubrick changed his mind.
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down to cracking your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I think you've been cheated.
Ermey improvised about half of his dialogue in the harsh training scenes, frequently yelling and insulting the actors with frightening authenticity.
Bullshit, from now on you're Private Snowball. Do you like that name? Yes, sir!
This performance defined the character and became a symbol of military harshness, leaving audiences both terrified and captivated by its realism. Reflecting the film's plot, Jack Nicholson improvised the film's shining moment in The Shining, 1980. In the scene where Jack Torrance chases his family into the bathroom, Jack Nicholson spontaneously blurted out the line, "Here's Johnny!"
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff. Here's Johnny.
A famous catchphrase from The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. This line was completely absent from Kubrick's original script. The scene was already incredibly tense as Jack broke through the bathroom door with an axe, and Nicholson's line turned it into a classic moment, combining dark humor with absolute horror. It added both humor and increased the scene's creepiness, highlighting Jack Torrance's madness. The classic Hollywood film Casablanca, 1942, has many memorable lines.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
But only one of them was completely unscripted. Representing the couple's bond, Humphrey Bogart's famous line,
He's looking at you, kid. He's looking at you, kid.
repeated multiple times in the film, was actually a phrase Bogart borrowed from his own life. He often used it when teaching Ingrid Bergman how to play poker between takes to help her relax and get into character. That intimate phrase made its way into the film and became one of the most famous cinematic lines of all time, without needing a script. Blazing Saddles, 1974, made history not only for its groundbreaking humor but also for its insane behind-the-scenes facts. On the very first day of filming, everything fell apart. The role of the Waco Kid was initially not for Gene Wilder but was given to Gig Young, an Oscar-winning actor. However, as soon as Young entered the jail cell for his first scene, something went wrong. He trembled, his voice hoarse, and then, mid-scene, he collapsed. Young was suffering from severe alcohol withdrawal, and just hours later, he was completely pulled from the film. Director Mel Brooks didn't panic. He walked off set, picked up the phone, and called the only person he completely trusted, Gene Wilder. Wilder didn't ask about the script, didn't ask about the role, he simply said yes. The next morning, he was on set, jet-lagged and completely unprepared. But when the cameras rolled, he was the Waco Kid, and no one doubted it.
Well, my name is Jim.
It was Wilder's audacious choice not to try to be funny, but to play the character seriously, drunkenly dignified that became the film's secret weapon. When studio executives first saw Blazing Saddles, 1974, they were utterly horrified. Not because the jokes didn't land, but because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The film was packed with harsh racial satire, fart jokes, gunplay, profanity, and even a character punching out a horse. They thought it was career suicide for the studio and would cause a massive scandal. The plan was set: kill this movie quietly, bury it in a vault, pretend it never existed. But Mel Brooks didn't flinch. He fought for a single test screening. That night came, and for the first 20 minutes, the theater was silent.
Take it easy, Charlie. My foot's on the rail.
And then the sound that saved the entire movie appeared. It was a simple scene. A group of cowboys gathered around a campfire eating beans. Then one farted. Loud, wet, and completely unfiltered. Then another, and another. In just a few seconds, the entire cinema erupted. Laughter echoed through the walls, people cried, slapped their thighs. In The Blues Brothers, 1980, there's a scene where John Belushi, as Jake Blues, actually crashed through a window. No stunt double, no breakaway glass. This moment was supposed to end with him merely slipping on the sidewalk, not plummeting into furniture. However, during the take, Belushi overdid it, falling through the storefront and landing flat on his back. The crew froze. Someone yelled cut, worried about Belushi. Was he okay? Everyone was concerned, but Belushi was different. He sat up, looked around, and calmly asked if it was time for lunch. No injury, no panic. Just a normal day on set for Belushi. This unexpectedness not only increased the scene's realism, but also demonstrated Belushi's insane dedication to the role. John Candy, despite playing a supporting role in The Blues Brothers, 1980, as police officer Burton Mercer, left an unforgettable mark without needing to steal the spotlight. From the moment he appeared on set, his ability to improvise, his delivery, and his quiet confidence shaped the scenes around him. He often improvised freely, not with grand gestures or loud jokes, but with soft-spoken remarks and unexpected pauses, even catching seasoned actors off guard. The famous line, "Orange Whip," when Candy's character asked if anyone wanted a drink and called out, "Orange Whip? Orange Whip? 3 orange whips," was completely unscripted. It was just something Candy said casually between takes, a very ordinary, spontaneous remark. The director decided to keep it because of its naturalness and humor. More than once, his improvised comments caused entire scenes to halt as the cast and crew burst into laughter. In Young Frankenstein 1974, there's a small detail that no one initially noticed but became one of the film's most mischievous jokes. The hump of Igor, played by Marty Feldman, seemed to freely move. In one scene, the hump was on his right side, then it moved to his left, disappeared, and reappeared.
You know, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm a rather brilliant surgeon. Perhaps I could help you with that hump.
What hump?
This wasn't a prop or editing error. It was the actor Marty Feldman's own joke. Without telling director Mel Brooks or the crew, Feldman began shifting his prosthetic hump after every few takes, just to tease everyone and see who would notice. When Mel Brooks finally realized, he burst out laughing and told the editors, "Just leave it." The hump joke became a hidden gem. Never directly mentioned in the film, never explained, just one more reason why the movie was so weird and brilliant. The teen comedy Porky's, 1981, was a box office phenomenon but also a critical punching bag. Few know that Porky's initially received an X rating from the Motion Picture Association of America, MPAA, due to excessive suggestive content. This required significant editing to secure an R rating, which was more suitable for wide release. In an interview, Mark Harrier, who played Billy, revealed a deleted scene that likely caused the X rating. He described a more nude version of the infamous shower scene where they filmed him sticking his pecker through the hole and it started to pop out. Harrier spoke about how the original joke was filmed. The girls reacted as if there was a snake crawling out of the ground, and in reality, it was just a tiny, pathetic thing. He argued that the scene made the whole theater roar with laughter, and was not sexual at all. It was exactly what Bob Clark wanted, just silly and pathetic. Although Harrier found the original scene humorous and aligned with director Bob Clark's silly vision, the film was branded with an X rating, so they had to cut it to ensure wide release. Some scenes in Blazing Saddles 1974 had to be filmed repeatedly, not due to technical issues, but because the crew couldn't stop laughing. The film already had an insanely humorous script, but the actors' performances exceeded all expectations. In the campfire scene, where the classic fart joke occurred, in Slim Pickens' monologues, or every time Mel Brooks appeared in his cameo roles, laughter erupted uncontrollably. Cameramen ruined takes because they couldn't keep their hands steady. The boom mic operator dropped equipment into the frame. Even the assistant director had to be removed from the set because his laughter kept getting into the audio, ruining the recordings. The situation got so bad that Brooks had to yell between takes, "Stop enjoying the movie, we're still making the movie." However, that joy and humor were baked into every frame of the film. These improvised moments not only brought laughter or surprise, but also proved that sometimes small, unplanned details can create depth, authenticity, and eternal vitality for a cinematic work.